Welcome back to the Broad Street Benchwarmers podcast. My name is Adam Dan, Athan Leviditis, and Michael Cormelos here with me. Quite the run here, guys. We are rocking it on the attendance, and we are here for our yearly occurrence. The 2025 NFL Draft is just 4 days away, and as we do every year, we like to do a little mock, a little fun thing. We all are GMs. We give our picks. We give our predictions. We talk prospects. It's draft season, baby. This is our time. So, boys, how are we feeling 4 days out?
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, from the top, it's like kind of all over the place, just because the value is going to be weird because the quarterbacks are not, in my opinion, great. I do have the number one pick, but outside of that, it's a fun class. It's definitely one of the weirder ones
Yeah, I
because
agree.
it's like there's only one, or there's two real top end like skill position guys, but it's deep,
Yep.
which excites me because we are 32, and
Yeah.
you're at what, 25? So
Yeah. I agree. I think there's not a lot of. I mean, obviously,
there
we're
are
gonna
like
get
three
into it.
blue
There's not a
chip
lot of
guys.
blue chip talent, but the rest of this first round is incredibly deep at both sides of the line. There's a lot of good skill position talent, especially on day two. It's there's a lot going here, and some, even I know you're talking about the quarterbacks, but even some quarterback prospects on day two that could end up being something. So I think it's definitely a fun draft, and there's a lot of questions for a lot of these teams going into this season. So
Yeah.
excited to get started.
Mhm.
So
Let's do it.
All right.
All right, Commissioner. Can we open the draft board? I think Ethan's usually commissioner.
Okay.
Can
Well, I
we
thought
put the
that was
Titans
you
on the
because
clock? Am I the
you're leading
commissioner?
that.
I'll be the commissioner. All right.
Okay. Because I'm
The
at number
Tennessee
one.
Titans on the clock. Number one.
All right. Um, if it weren't for the funniest Twitch stream of all time, I wouldn't. I would contemplate going elsewhere. But when he's like, "Who are the top three receivers in the league?" He's like, Traylon Burks, Calvin Ridley. Um, I can't like. We're gonna have to keep some realism because, to be honest, I don't think I would have any quarterback in the top 10, maybe even top 15. But you have to obviously account for positional value and how much teams are desperate for quarterbacks, and that's why I'm going Cam Ward. And if we're getting spicy here, he's not even my QB1. Like, I'm not a huge fan. I understand they're the, I guess, intangibles that you think you can uh develop the next level, but like it is probably the most like number one pick in a while.
not really. Trayvon Walker happened
Yeah, you
like
can say Trayvon Walker, but like Trayvon Walker, like you could see the vision. Like he had super
that's
long arms. He was like,
Seeing that vision.
he had super long arms and like was the most athletic player in that class. With Cam
yeah.
Ward, it's like you get a lot of like, this will be a average to above average player, and you would be, in my opinion, I'd say you'd be lucky if he makes multiple Pro Bowls or even one. Like,
I
he
agree.
will be a solid starter. He will exist. He will play quarterback for the Tennessee Titans. And after the, I guess, Will Levis / Mason Rudolph / Josh Dobbs / Malik Willis era, um, I guess having just a solid, like firm, like day one starter, obviously is a way to accelerate the rebuild. I don't think he's particularly like a floor raiser at all. I feel like you're most of this is banked on the ceiling because like he was good at he was good. And that's like,
That's it.
yeah. He is not, I wouldn't say comparable to the top three quarterbacks last year or the top two in 2023. 2022 was a disaster, but and 2020, I mean, on strictly on grade, like even 2021, I don't think he would have been the second or even the third quarterback off the board.
2021, we're thinking Wilson, Lawrence, Fields.
Yeah.
And Trey Lance, I think Trey Lance would have went ahead of him. Like he would have.
Because Trey Lance had
I
the
don't know about
actual
that.
Trey Lance had the actual potential. Like they loved him.
Yeah.
The intangible. It's like the intangibles are on crack for Trey Lance.
I mean,
like that.
Look,
had like the athletic freak built and like.
I mean, since
that
we're
was
at
like-
that
that was
point,
like
how about
first.
Adam just gives his take on Cam Ward?
I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna go before
Okay.
Adam because I have the same feelings as you.
Yeah, same as you.
I know Adam thinks differently. I'm not a big fan on Ward. He's my quarterback too as well. I don't see all the things about how he has a higher ceiling than Shedeur, but I've done this a million times and I won't go there. But and also I really just don't understand why Tennessee's going to take quarterback here. I feel like some positions it feels like they are trying to win. Like they're trying to draft a quarterback. They've made free agency signings to get like Calvin Ridley and they're paying Tony Pollard. And then like obviously they have Jeffrey Simmons, Harold Landry, and then on other sides of the ball there's nothing, and they haven't made any significant improvements to half the positions, and it feels like a franchise with no direction. It just feels like a disaster waiting to happen. Throwing a rookie quarterback who probably look the worst QB1, according to some, and since with the exception of 2022. So this just feels like a disaster waiting to happen. And I not to be that guy, but the Titans haven't exactly been like, the best ran organization outside of that one miracle run they had in 2021. Was that the one?
I think it was
2020, right?
Yeah.
No, because it's the Bengals Super Bowl year, right?
It's
well, it was
the Lamar year.
2019 into 20.
Yeah.
It was 2020.
Yeah, I was referring to when they were the one seed in the AFC.
But also, we also have to acknowledge that was the era of Phillip Rivers on the Colts and Davis Mills and Gardner Minshew in Houston and Jacksonville. So like if this was a strictly objective, no if this wasn't predictive or if we're going strictly, this is my pick. I'm going Travis Hunter because he's the best player in the class, and I think he's more of a sort of franchise cornerstone than I think Cam Ward will be.
Yeah.
Even though I know quarterback's the most valuable position in sports, but just because of the weakness of the classic quarterback, I personally would have just punted on quarterback and waited until next year.
Yeah, I mean next year's class might be loaded. So,
and even if you don't I would be much more comfortable with going Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, and then wait and go like Will Howard or Riley Leonard down the board.
Yeah. Maybe not Riley Leonard, but right idea, wrong person.
I was gonna say Tyler Shaw, but he's
my guy.
Terrible. He's terrible.
He might be in this video because
there's no way. I'm leaving. I'm leaving.
Well,
if he gets drafted,
it's gonna All right.
I mean, look, I'm in agreement. He's my quarterback one. I will say that. He's 20th on my board. It's not like and the difference between him and Shedeur is not great. I'll agree with you in those two circumstances. I would take Travis Hunter here. I would take Abdul Carter here. But I am of the belief that you simply don't know when you're going to be here again. And when I watch Cam Ward, I see a player who I think has the potential to be an above average starter in the NFL. And that's really not something I think you can ever totally bank on. I see a guy with great arm talent who struggles at time with touch. I see a good NFL athlete on film. I think a guy who's able to make great plays. I have compared him at times to guys like Love. who I have my affinity for. And I think he, despite his lulls in decision making, which I think is something that's incredibly coachable from my understanding, I think that he has the ability to make almost any throw on the field, and that kind of talent. So I am a believer in him being, I think, an above average NFL quarterback. I think there are limitations, like I said, that touch, that accuracy, especially in, middle yardage situations. And that's an issue and going to continue to be an issue. But I like what I see, and I agree with you on the Tennessee infrastructure. It's something I have significant qualms about. I would go again, agreement, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter. But I understand the desperation for a franchise. I don't think we always consider this from a general manager perspective or a coaching perspective. And the fact is, this is a Tennessee staff that has cycled through 2 general managers now in 2 years, that has a coach who is essentially on the hot seat now. After, I think that franchise expected to win more than 3 games last year. Or 2, I think they expected to be somewhat competitive in the AFC South. This is, something that could, if this blows up, this could lead to a new era without Callahan at the helm. So I understand, I understand the desperation here, and if that leads to quarterback, I think that's something that can lead to quarterback. So.
Yep. All right. Well, you are on the board now with the Browns.
I am on the board.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get any phone calls.
No. I mean.
Well, you know what? I'm not gonna take them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, New England did want to jump up.
Yeah.
But New England coming up would actually be sick. But
yeah, I'm not gonna take them.
Yeah.
There's a guy in this draft who is a unicorn, and we've already talked about him a lot. He's the best player on my board. I think he's the best player on all 3 of our boards.
Yeah.
And that is Colorado cornerback Travis Hunter. This is a player who I think is probably going to play majority wide receiver. Does he get drafted in Cleveland? I think that's probably the fit for him.
Really?
Yes, that sounds like what they envision for him. And I think that's actually okay. I've kind of come around to that. I think he would immediately step in as the wide receiver 1. I like Jerry Jeudy a lot, but I think his talent in being able to create separation with not just his speed and his freak athleticism, but also I don't think people talk about his route running enough. He is about as polished as it gets. He would have been the first receiver on my board, just as he would have been the first corner on my board. I think he's a better corner. I think he has the prototypical length and, coverage skills to be able to hold up on that end. I think he could be a great outside corner in this league. But look, you throw him in there on 3rd down on the outside, and you can move Greg Newsome inside and have that work. I mean, he truly is a shutdown guy at this level. I believe that. So I'm so excited to watch him play football. I'm a little sad that he's going to a situation like this where it's going to be Kenny Pickett likely throwing him the ball next season. But
I can say about it, 33.
Yeah, we'll find out. Jalen Milroe throwing him the football next season. But he's so exciting as a player, dude. And, I know there's going to be the whole, can he play both ways? Blah, 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 blah. I mean,
yes.
I don't really care, man. Like, if he does play both ways, that's incredible. I get to see twice as much as him. If he plays one way, guess what? He's going to be one of the most dominant players in the NFL as that, and he's going to be a Hall of Famer. Like, he's a killer. So, all in on this guy.
My thing is, I feel like at every level they've told him he can't play both ways efficiently.
Yeah.
They told him that at Jackson State he wasn't going to be able to. And then he did. And then he moved up to FBS at Colorado. They're like, you're not going to be able to play both ways, elite. And he won the Heisman. So I don't have a problem. I think he starts out just playing, dominantly one side of the ball. But I think eventually as they work it in, he's going to play both positions perfectly fine. I mean, he's clearly like one of the greatest conditioned athletes of all time already. So,
Yeah, my biggest worry isn't really his conditioning. My biggest worry is the injury risk. That's my biggest worry because this is a guy who, I mean, he's only played what you have like 10 FBS games. We're talking about 17 games plus the playoffs. I mean, I know the Browns aren't going to be in the playoffs this year, but you know what I mean. Like, so that's my bigger worry is just the risk that would
longer.
provide with the amount of snaps it is.
I mean, he played 14 games last year.
Yeah. I don't know.
He got 2 buys, but
yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. And maybe he does get injured one year, and you decide. But I don't think you don't play him. You don't use your elite weapon because there's a one-liner risk.
I mean, it's the Ohtani argument, right?
Yeah,
it's the same argument. So, but the fact that we get to have that argument in the National Football League is a blessing in and of itself. It's going to be so much fun.
All right, it's my turn.
Yeah,
New York Giants.
All right, I go back and forth on 2 people, but I think it's really hard for me to pass up on Abdul Carter here.
Yeah.
I know that shocked Ted. I pretty much told Athan that earlier, but I think that I don't know. I mean, like if it's Shadur, I won't be surprised. Mm-hmm. But Abdul Carter, one of the best, probably the best edge rusher we've seen since Myles Garrett.
Yeah,
he's dominant. And I mean, it's just best player available at this point for the Giants. And I don't know what you're going to do with. I mean, you have Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau. I don't really know what the vision is there if you're going to try to move somebody inside to play next to Sexy Dex. But I don't see a scenario where we can pass up on Abdul Carter. He's a freak. He's amazing. He's immediately a floor raiser.
Yeah.
And just on a team that has so many holes. And I mean, once again, I said I wouldn't be shocked if they drafted Shadur, but I feel like so many of the moves they made in the offseason, I mean, they brought in Russell Wilson. They brought in Jameis Winston. I mean, technically, Aaron Rodgers could still sign there if he wanted to. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it just feels like an organization that has kind of made up their mind that they don't want to go quarterback in the draft unless they just don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, they let Saquon walk, so.
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree. I love this pick. And I think it's underrated how good that defense could be if you just throw Abdul Carter in the middle of it. I'm not a Thibodeau guy, but
probably
I mean, yeah. But you think about them being able to add a guy like Paulson Adebo into that cornerback room. You think about what they've done in the safety room, having Javon Holland. Like this is starting to build the pieces to be a passable NFL defense when last year they were nothing of that such. And then offensively, you look at the board later down in this draft. I mean, having as many picks and capital as they do, this is where you start to build out a passable enough team to the point where, these guys are going to be able to keep their jobs in Joe Sheen and Brian Dable. And I'm not sure totally that taking Shedeur Sanders here would, I mean, no matter what your opinion of Shedeur Sanders is, throwing him into that ecosystem, I'm not sure is going to be what allows Brian Dable and Joe Sheen to be able to keep their jobs.
He probably wouldn't even play.
Exactly. So I think this is the right pick. I think, again, like we keep talking about with these GMs, it's nailing down how you're going to be able to create stability in this National Football League. I think that's important, and it's a great pick with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Number 4, New England Patriots on the clock.
This is interesting. I mean, I hate to comment, but most of my mocks, I've had Ward and Shadur back to back, and the Giants going with Travis Hunter. So, I mean, it feels like the Patriots. I feel like every mock I've done have the Patriots taking Abdul Carter, so I'm a little intrigued to see what Nathan does here.
I'm very intrigued.
Like,
are you taking phone calls?
Like, I will, but it won't be. It would have to be with Jacksonville or the Raiders, just so I know for a fact that.
The Jacksonville Jaguars are not calling.
Yeah, and like.
Would you take a call from the Saints?
I It's like I'm trying to think. Like
Would you take a call from the San Francisco 49ers?
that's I think the lowest I'd go would be 9. So
Do you accept the call?
it's just I just
Well, hold on one sec.
it's just really tricky because I feel like they have to know for a fact that they'll be able to get a player. I mean, there will theoretically be at least one of the 2 guys that I'm thinking of available at 9. But at the same time, I just would rather make the pick and go about my day if I were.
Okay. I think knowing you two, my players still be available at 9, but so
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
You know-
I think your player's going to be there at 9.
But no, sometimes teams, like you just said, teams want to create stability. They're not going to take risks.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's what throw you off right there. I hung up. I hung up. Make the pick. Offers off the
Okay. Okay. I mean, actually, would is it Mickey Loomis? Would he entertain a call again to go down to 9?
Ooh.
Entertain the call?
Yeah.
Not change my mind.
Okay. It's just it's very uncertain where this guy's going. And that's the whole that's why I'm completely on the fence of staying at 4 going down. But just so I know for a fact that Drake May is upright, I'm going Will Campbell at 4. And
No.
yeah.
That's not what I thought you were doing. What the hell?
What do you think he was doing?
I thought for sure it was Ted.
Ow.
I mean, I think I don't think Diggs is long-term stability, but
yeah,
it's been such like he was a Pro Bowl, he was a Pro Bowler, but
yeah,
but our friend Drake, our guy Drake May, I think one of the tackles had to be the pick just because the line is not good as it stands right now, and that accounts for tackle and guard. And the big thing with Will Campbell is his arms are too short. He can't play tackle. And for me, if I were running the New England Patriots, which I am in this scenario, I'm playing him at tackle until he can't. Because
I think that's how all these guys with small arms should be ran.
Yeah, because
why am I going to take you away from your natural position just because?
Yeah, because he's proven to play an elite level in the hardest conference in college football for
3 years.
Yeah, and especially at that position.
Yep.
So, like, if it doesn't work, he'll be a elite guard, but I think he could still be a franchise tackle, and I think obviously guards are not inherently as valuable as tackles, but either way, he's going to be probably the cornerstone of that position group for the Drake May era. So,
I agree with this pick. I mean, it could be Ted or Will Campbell here, and I think it's a good decision. Just anything to keep Drake May upright or give him more weapons to throw. Give him more weapons to throw to. But I think now that you have Diggs kind of as like a Band-Aid for now, it'll be fine.
And you still have Mario Douglas, Jalen Polk. Like, you have guys around. And
that's true. I always forget Jalen Polk's there.
Yeah, took him in the second round. And, I mean, that's not a mark of quality because they took Tyquan Thornton. Didn't they take Tyquan Thornton on day 2? Like,
I mean, both.
Ago? He's not on the team anymore.
N'Keal Harry, round 1.
Both the receivers they took last year have been horrible. But I still love this pick. I think Campbell, to me, the film screams left tackle still. He just has so much range and power that he brings to the position. You watch him against any of these top edge rushers in this class that he's played against, and he still manages to keep up. So I love it. I think if they stay here, this is absolutely the pick. I think that Saints thing would have been fun, but if they stay here, I think that's the pick.
Yeah.
All right, ring. Now,
Yep.
please.
Yep.
Vegas.
Is it? Who is it?
Vegas.
Vegas just
Wanting to move up a pick?
Yep.
Yep,
okay.
I'm accepting.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. Enjoy your free extra pick.
Yeah.
Okay. Las Vegas Raiders at 5.
Las Vegas Raiders on the clock.
All right, it's Membu.
Whoa.
That's why I freaked out when
Oh yeah.
That's why I freaked out when Campbell.
Yeah. I was thinking like
Great
the Jets
pick.
could, but
I thought
Great pick.
Campbell was gonna fall to 6. Membu is tackle 1B for me.
Yep.
I mean, he's barely behind Will Campbell. I mean, you want to talk about a guy who's done it in the best conference in college football at an elite level for multiple years. Armand Bamboo has also done that. I mean, he's great. Franchise left tackle, franchise right tackle, whatever it is.
I mean, it will be right just because they have Colton Miller, but
yeah, or if they can insert him anywhere. I mean, I'm sure Colton Miller could play either side if they wanted Bamboo to stay on the left side. He's awesome. He's climbed up boards. He's an athletic freak. This is a team that suddenly feels like they want to win now with some of the moves they made this offseason. And Pete Carroll is a great I think Pete Carroll is a great talent developer. So I think they really need to make a move to keep Geno upright. I'm not the biggest fan of this interior line. I think Jackson Powers-Johnson still has potential, but I think right now you're only like set in stone. You know they're going to be good is Colton Miller. So just to secure another franchise tackle, get Membu or Will Campbell if he becomes available. But I think even just trading up one pick, this was necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just
No,
for
I completely agree. I love this pick, Michael. I think being able to a lot of people were gonna say Genti there, and I agree with it. But you look at, I think it's a good. I think it's a fine pick.
If they didn't hire Chip Kelly, I couldn't fathom it.
I know.
Yeah.
I think it's a fine pick, but I think this is a line that was 30th in rushing offense over this past year. And really, in a way responsible for that. So if you continue to add with a guy like Membu, who, like you said, complete athletic freak, he can play on the right side. I think he'd be perfectly fine moving to the left side if he needed to at any point. He's just so versatile. I love this guy. I might even like him more than Campbell. He's just a beast.
Yeah, and I mean, my thought process also is too. I love Genti. But I don't know how much, the Raiders value running back, considering they went into the year with Alexander Madison as their RB1. Now, this could
different
change
staff now.
They have, different personnel, obviously. But my thought is, I feel like the value of getting the second best tackle in the class, and then I'm almost 99% confident that it's that 37 or whatever what their next pick is Chip Kelly's choice of if he wants Henderson or Judkins.
Yeah.
I think you can still get. I think they still think that 1,000-yard rusher behind a great tackle who's also going to be a great pass protector. I mean, I think Judkins or Henderson can come right into this offense and be a potential 1,000-yard rusher. So that's my theory behind this pick. And if I'm the Raiders GM, that's what I'm thinking of doing. I'm going to get I would personally pick Henderson, but I get my choice of either. If I'm Chip Kelly and I'm happy, Pete Carroll's happy because he has a great offense. It works. So
sounds like a good deal to me. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Is me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Jacksonville Jaguars on the clock. Is anyone taking calls? Or we are taking calls.
You're taking calls.
I would say that the Chicago Bears are entertaining.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
All yours.
Hold up. Let me think.
Oh.
I mean, I'm assuming the Bears are trading up for Genti. So
I mean, if they're not trading up to 6, they're trading up to 7, which is with me.
Okay.
It's more of a preventative measure to make sure that nobody else.
Let's see.
Are you good? Are you good to trade?
Yeah, I'll give you 10.
Hey,
I'll take
hold
10.
up. You might be getting another call.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Okay.
I
What's this other call?
I don't see any of these teams actually trading up for running back. Never mind.
Okay.
Sorry.
Right.
Okay.
Chicago Bears on the clock.
Okay. 10.
Should I Well, I'll explain the Jags process when I get to the Jags.
Yeah.
I'll get there.
Okay, you can go ahead. You can do that right now, and then I'll do my spiel about.
Explain the Jags. Well, I want to wait till you see who I pick, so that you can kind of
Okay.
understand.
Wait.
Yeah.
You are staying at 6?
No, I'm moving back to 10, but I'm gonna wait to explain why I'm moving back to 10 until I pick at 10, so you can explain the Bears.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think this was just preventative measure, regardless, just to make sure they could get their guy at 6. I don't think the Jets would have done it, but let's see. I think there's a non-zero chance the Saints would have done it. I would also say there's a non-zero chance the Jets would have done it, but because it's the Jets. But yeah, I just think trading up to make sure it's similar to why I stayed put with the Patriots at 4. It's just know for a fact that you get your guy, and in that case, it's Ashton Genty, which we know this. We've been over this.
Yeah. Best running back prospects in Saquon.
Yeah, since Saquon. I think he's better than Bijan.
As a prospect?
Like maybe.
I don't know. People had Bijan as their number 1 on that big board. So
yeah,
I think I
did.
4. I think I did. I think I had Will Anderson, Jalen Carter, Bryce Young, and then Bijan.
But I get what you're saying. I understand why you would say that. I'm not being an idiot for it.
Yeah. My thing is, I love Ashton Genty.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. The reason why I have him lower than I had Saquon and lower than I had Bijan, and this is a bit of a nitpick, is because
He's too tiny.
Huh?
He's too tiny.
No, I don't think he has the third level gear that either of those guys had in that way. I think the home run hitter, huh?
This is why Mike Mayock got fired.
Yeah, he is. He is, if we're doing a baseball reference, the Adam Dunn of the draft. He's
the home run hitter explosiveness.
Yeah.
I think is lesser than that of Saquon and lesser of that of Bijan.
I don't need home run explosiveness if I'm getting 8 yards of carry. Everything is a home run. If I don't have to pass the ball the entire game, and I'm
just saying if we're comparing the 3, I would still have him 3rd, but I think he's
I agree.
a generational prospect.
I agree, but I agree with you when you're saying nitpick. So.
Yeah.
All right, Ethan, you're back up. The Jets.
Okay, I'm taking calls, and I would
really
trade down with probably New Orleans if they're willing.
No, I know what I'm doing at 9, and if the Panthers do what I'm doing at 9, then I'm gonna collapse.
Well, it is like he'll probably be there at 9, so it's just I'm just not really sure about the value of secondary option at a particular position group.
Wait, do I have the Colts?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just if I'm the Jets, I wouldn't go past like 11.
Okay, then I'm staying put.
Okay.
I'm thinking about Dallas. Hold up.
Yeah, like 12 is.
I still don't know what I'm gonna do with Dallas actually, so I'm gonna stay put.
Yeah. It's just a really weird spot because right here it's BPA, but at the same time, I would rather just recoup some assets because you can get comparable players, I would say, at like 3 or 4 spots lower. But
and that is the thing about this draft is
it's like a lot of like the margins are very thin from like I would say 5 to probably like 15.
Yeah.
It's like you got your Hunters, Carters, Genties, and then you got everybody else.
Yeah.
In my opinion. It's like good players. It's just at 7. It feels rich to go with technically not backup because he would play most downs, but I mean, we'll do it just because he's there and he's the best player on the board. But we'll go with
Interesting.
with Mason Graham. Just
Interesting.
like I was thinking one of the edges, but I feel like they have enough confidence in what they got right now with Will McDonald and Jermaine Johnson. I don't think it's like preventing them from going edge. It's just I think Mason Graham makes more sense here at 7, in my opinion, than like Jalen Walker, just because he's more of a wild card that I don't really know if he would fit in the Aaron Glenn defense personally.
Did you think about offense here? Because that's what I was thinking about. That's the direction I thought you were going to go in.
I mean, I was thinking Membu. Like, it was Membu the whole time.
But not skill position?
Like, I definitely like McMillan a lot.
Yeah.
But
I
would have preferred to be around like Jacksonville to Dallas territory to take him, just because I feel like I think it's not really that close, but I feel like this is a very defensive heavy class, especially around the top. Like, I like McMillan, top 10 guy, but
I think I would have thought about McMillan a lot more if they traded Garrett Wilson. But I think if they're not going to, I think if they didn't move him now, they're not going to move him until the end of the season. So I would just stick with what I have and go for a bigger need.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I think that Mason Graham is solid, and I think he's the definition of solid. He has, not quite the athletic traits that you would say, scream off the page, but it's really good film. And that's just about all you could ask for. He was one of the most productive players in Michigan history. Like, I would have thought about Warren there. I would have. I think it's a really good fit. It might be a little rich for him as a player, but I think as far as like the fit in that offense, I think it would make a lot of sense with kind of the Detroit Lions-y stuff they do. I can see him doing like Laporta-esque things. So that was kind of where I was poking at, but I think
it's just if I'm the Jets, I would rather have gone like a Mason Taylor.
Yeah,
just it's not even not really even positional value. It's just if I were the Jets, I would have only really gone Tyler Warren if I was around like the beginning of like after 10, traded down to after 10.
Yeah, I mean,
it's understandable.
I think the only way I see Warren is if they really think they need to give Fields more help.
Which they do.
Which they do, yeah.
It's the guy, but there's that.
But also, that run defense is so atrocious, and you have, I'd say, pretty comfortably the best run defender in the draft. So
yeah.
And you hire a defensive coach, you should get a top-tier defensive player. So,
There's your McNeil-esque player.
Are accepting calls.
All right. I'm not picking until 13, so I'm just gonna.
I don't see Jerry. I think Jerry's gonna get his guy, one of his two guys, just the way positional value is gonna fall here. So I'm good.
Okay. Everybody's good?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. I think this is an interesting position for Carolina. This is, like we've kind of referenced, kind of where this draft, as far as value slips off a little bit. We're in a large pool of probably first-round guys, not necessarily surefire things. And
also, like, we have no idea for a lot of these teams what positions they're thinking, except maybe the Colts and the Saints.
Exactly.
This could really be anything.
Exactly. Carolina, we know, has a lot of needs as well, I think, on both sides of the ball. But I think for me, the biggest priority has to be that defense. They've, really sold out in getting rid of a lot of players in that building. The only notable players who I can think of all Pro Bowl, all pro level guys are J.C. Horn and Derek Brown that are left in that building. And so
Bryce Young's good, but yeah,
and
just not
so
a pro guy.
I mean
but,
on defense.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you
Yeah.
were just saying.
Yeah.
I was just saying Bryce
Yeah.
Young might
Yeah.
be solid this year. So
Well, we'll say. But I think just adding talent on that end and continuing to give, a hero Evans just the pieces to be able to build out a defense that I think played above its weight last year is important. So I am going to take who I think is the best defensive player left on the board, and that is Jalen Walker, edge rusher out of Georgia.
oh my God, you just made 9 so hard for me.
I love Jalen Walker.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He is a guy who I think people are going to have mixed opinions of because he's a little bit of, I've heard him described as a tweener, because he's solid in coverage and still kind of developing as an edge rusher, and he doesn't necessarily have the measuring traits that you would, necessarily want at either position. But I love this guy. I think on film, his explosiveness jumps off. He's not quite as explosive that he tested as you'd want, but on film, it really shows. Doesn't have the wide variety of moves yet, but the moves he does have, he's able to create so much power. And then I think in coverage as well, he showed some skills. He showed some versatility in that Georgia defense. And I trust him coming from a program like that, a valued program, playing the amount of snaps he did. I told you guys a story of when I was watching him on film. I was watching for Michael Williams, and I was like, who the fuck is this guy in the corner, like, going insane? And I was like, oh my God, it's Jalen Walker. That's another guy I got to watch. So it's really, I think it's a good pick. There's a lot of Georgia guys on that Carolina staff in that building that got hired. And so I think he'll be a good scheme fit. And I think this is a fit for him to grow. I really like this here.
I agree with everything you said. I mean, he's personally my edge 3, but it's very close between him and the guy that's my edge 2. So
yeah. And I think the guy who's your edge 2, I mean, we know who you're referencing.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about him a little later.
Yeah.
I think that guy it would be a great fit here too. But I think, it really just came down to the connections that are reportedly had with them and the Georgia guys, the Panthers, for me.
Yeah, I get it. I agree with everything you said. He's great. So
yeah. Saints at 9.
All right, you made this very difficult for me because I really do want to draft the guy that you didn't draft. That's my edge too.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna be a bit biased. This is Shadur.
Yeah.
He's my quarterback 1. I seem to like. I'm in the 99th percentile of people that like him, I guess. I mean, I understand people are like, oh, 60% of the film is, check downs and screens, and that's just the way the Colorado offense was. And I'm not going to punish somebody for what the offense was.
I'm going to say he's saying this because I said this to him yesterday.
But I've seen it before. Like, I understand. I know. This is what I've been battling for the last year. And for all of you guys that, are going to bullshit me, I have had a first-round grade on Cam Ward since his junior year. After his junior year, I said this is a first-round guy, and he played in that weird-ass offense at Washington State. So I don't care about weird offenses. It's limited. It's limited film, but I've seen it in the last 2 years. It's a great arm. He's a fine athlete. He's a good decision maker.
Yeah, and by far the most accurate quarterback in the class.
He drops a dime. His deep ball is great. Medium accuracy is beautiful. Makes the right decisions. I mean, yes, sure, you want to have the character concerns, blah, blah, blah. He's Deion's son. Who cares? Oh, my God. Like, I don't buy into it. I don't. A lot of people buy into the fact that he's arrogant and, and I'm not a lot of people in the NFL, but it's like, going down Twitter and you just look at, like, all the idiots that are like, oh, this guy's only good because, his last name is Sanders and his dad coached at Colorado, blah, blah, blah. I've had enough of it. I can't wait for him to just be miles better than Ward will ever be because that's what it's looking at, and I'm excited.
Yeah. I mean, it's like
right again.
a very comparable situation in Tennessee anyways. It's like mid at best line and no weapons to speak of. So, I mean,
at least he has experience
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I mean,
He'll
like
have his
Kamara's
nice.
better than nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Olave's healthy. I mean, he's a one. Olave's a one when he's healthy, in my opinion.
That's kind of the
I don't know
thing.
about that.
That is the thing.
I don't know about that. I mean, my mixed opinions on Shador are now documented. I disagree on the athlete part. I take a little more consideration into the fact that so much of that film is majority screens and stuff, and I just don't think there's a big enough sample size of great throws on film for me to be able to discount that. I also think that I don't really like the fit here, simply because he's going to have to start right away. And I think you are kind of throwing him into the fire here, as we've kind of referenced. But at the same time, I think this is going to be the pick, guys. So I think you nailed this one in that way. It seems like New Orleans is kind of in love with this guy. It seems like, I mean, they need an answer here, in year one, in some capacity. Now, would I be more willing to wait and say, hey, maybe my answer's Kirk Cousins this year and somebody next year? Yeah, but I just
can't do this shit anymore.
I I think this is going to be the pick, so I'm fine with it here.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I didn't. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Adam, you have the next two picks.
Okay.
San Francisco.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So Jacksonville Jaguars here at 10, maybe accepting offers. Just let me think about this real quick first. Actually, we're gonna stay put.
Yeah. You already traded down once. It's kind of
we're gonna stay put here. A lot of directions for this Jacksonville team to go here.
Mm-hmm.
I personally, and I'll explain why I traded down. I'm not the biggest Mason Graham guy. I think he's similar in value to a lot of the players that I'm going to get here. So I would rather trade down and, get a similar positional value, I think, here at number 10. I could have traded down even farther, and that's kind of why I was throwing the pick around. But I'll stay here because there are a couple guys who I can fashion myself like in here. I think this could very easily be offense. You bring in Liam Cohen, you bring in an offensive line. Hey, you want to bring in a big skill position guy. So I think that could be a key point of emphasis here. But they do really still have needs on defense, especially on the interior, especially in the secondary. And so I think that's where I'm going to lean. I'm going to lean defense. I'm going to lean in the secondary, and I'm going to take Will Johnson, cornerback out of Michigan. I think this is a great fit here. Will Johnson is a physical outside corner. He's my cornerback 3, actually. So he is not my 2. My 1 is Travis Hunter. My 2 is Jahdae Barron.
I don't even think about Travis in the terms of the rankings. I just thought about Barron, but I was like, you have Revel ahead of Will Johnson? I was like, what?
No, that would be crazy.
Morrison, I didn't think you liked Morrison that much.
No. But Will Johnson is one of my guys. I really do like Will Johnson. There's some questions about his flexibility at the next level, his ability to change directions on film, and kind of his athleticism in that way. But I think just because of his physical traits, he's going to be able to figure it out. It feels kind of Jamar Chasey to me in that way, if you guys know what I'm referencing. And so I really like him as just a big outside bully for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And even though I like Barron better, I think Johnson is a more natural fit to the position. I think that's ultimately what's going to lead Jacksonville down this road. So give me the Will Johnson here to kind of cement a new era here in Jacksonville.
All right. Now you're up again with the
All right.
With the Niners. Yeah.
All right. Pick 11 here. again, a team with a lot of different directions to go and a team with a lot of draft capital. There's a reason why I was calling at pick 6 or pick 5 or whatever it is, because I really, really wanted Armand Membu for this team, and I really, really wanted Will Johnson for this team, because I think having that tackle guard combo, a guard, huh?
Ring ring.
Who's calling?
Atlanta.
No, we're gonna stay.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know where Atlanta's probably going, and I'm guessing they're going to try to take an edge rusher defense here, and that's something I'm heavily considering. So that's why I'm gonna decline on Atlanta. But actually, I don't even
the rest of these picks.
Huh?
I don't even know who I have. Hold up, I got hold up before
You got Dallas, Atlanta, Seattle.
Yeah,
we'll get there.
Does Seattle do it? I don't think Seattle trades up. All right, I'm good.
Yeah, my biggest concern, I think, is not just finding a Trent Williams replacement, but replacing guys like Aaron Banks and trying to fill out this roster. In this offensive line that was so dominant 2 years ago and kind of had its issues throughout this season. And with Jalen Walker and Abdul Carter, obviously off the board, I like Mike Green, but I'm not gonna shy away from taking Kelvin Banks here. It's not enough for me. So Kelvin Banks, offensive tackle.
Really?
Texas is going here. I think he is the Trent Williams replacement for the future, and I also think he's going to play right away for the San Francisco 49ers team. I think he gives you that versatility. He's a guy who I really like. I think he has the prototypical size and physicality to be a tackle or a guard in this league. I have him definitely solidified behind Membu and behind Will Campbell, but not an incredible amount behind.
Yeah.
So give me Banks here.
Yeah, I would. That's where I was looking for Miami. That was a bit.
That's why I didn't trade back.
Yeah, I don't know. That's why I was. That's why I was thinking about 10, but then you already traded down from 5. So.
Yeah.
Who's ready to have some fun?
Oh my God! Don't.
Oh God.
Who's ready to have some fun?
Mm-hmm.
There's a slogan I say on this podcast all the time when we talk about free agency, and when we don't, Ethan, it's not who it is.
Oh wow!
I see him right. I see him typing in Amari Hampton on the dock.
Yeah.
It's not him. I've often said.
Oh yeah.
Jerry loves sexy.
Yeah.
And Jerry wants to pick that makes the most sense to make it look sexy, and it's still season tickets. So naturally, you both are thinking Ted.
Yeah.
This is a great receiver to go alongside.
Oh my God.
Go alongside CD.
Yeah.
He's great. But I don't care. Give me Tyler Warren.
Woo! We've still got the fastball.
We do.
I love it.
I keep you guys on your toes with these.
I love it,
these
dude.
Dallas picks every year. I feel like I always have Dallas. I always have fun with it. I'm never right.
Yep. That's a fantastic pick.
Right.
That's
because
a fantastic
sometimes somebody talks Jerry out of it, but then they take like Mozzie Smith, and I'm like, okay, well maybe they should have taken like a wide receiver or
that's a great pick.
First round. There's not much to say about Tyler Warren. I mean, probably the best tight end prospect since
at least Kyle Pitts.
At least Pitts. I mean, I wouldn't say he's better than Pitts. Pitts was dominant at Florida, so I'll say since Pitts, he's the best tight end prospect since Pitts.
Yeah.
I mean, he can throw the ball. He can run the ball. He could. I mean,
they need some running game.
He's obviously a great receiver.
Mm-hmm.
He made a lot of plays. He got Heisman votes. I mean, that's really hard to do as a tight end. I'm a bit concerned about the blocking, but I think if Brian, whatever the hell, I don't know the coach's name, Shoemaker.
Brian Schottenheimer.
If he's going to run a lot of these similar West Coast style offenses that McCarthy liked to run, I think we see a decent amount of 2 tight end sets where you'd see maybe Tyler Ward running the route and whoever the hell else is on this. Did you really just flip me off?
No, I was rubbing my eye.
Oh,
it's like
yeah. Anyways, but, I think he's a good scheme fit.
And also,
They're sexy, so this makes the offense way more sexier, and this probably raises the ceiling a little bit. I probably, if I'm Jerry, I'm probably gonna pick McMillan here, but I buy into having fun, and that's what I'm doing right now. So Tyler Warren to the Cowboys, and the Shane Steichen's crying at a quarter, and the Commanders and the Eagles are just dancing in the other corner.
I don't know.
I mean, I just looked this up to make sure Jake Ferguson is expiring.
Yeah.
And all of their money is going to go to Michael Parsons.
Yeah.
I
think this
2 and 2 together. And T's. I think him and McMillan grade wise are very similar, and I think that in that Dallas offense they would be used probably the same amount.
Yeah. I think this is perfectly defensible. I think, like you said, Warren really is just a bigger wide receiver at this point. He is a bigger wide receiver who's able to, create in space. And really that's what they're looking for is creation in space. It's yards after catch. It's guys who can, take a little bit of that kind of load off of CD, who had one of the highest usage rates of any wide receiver in the NFL. I'm not sure McMillan is that guy. I know a lot of people like McMillan a lot, but I still see him in kind of as a lesser version of what Drake London has become. And to me, that doesn't really scream, solving all the problems in Dallas. So I think this is a fantastic pick. I love it.
Ring, Ethan.
Yeah.
Who's
calling?
Atlanta.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Right. If Mike Green actually falls out of the top 10,
well, I think he will. I don't even know if he'll go top 20. It's just
that's insane to me. He's my edge.
I know. It just comes down to off field. It's gonna be off.
Yeah.
It's I don't buy into the off field stuff as much as you guys employed Jalen Carter.
Ethically, okay.
No, I buy into it ethically. I don't buy into it when organizing a team. I think people really overthink how much GMs think about that.
Yeah, in a sport when
Green is the best edge available on a what?
So this is my Green, right?
Yeah, this is my Green. Yeah.
Okay.
I think if he's there at 13, you have to trade up. I mean, you had one of the worst defensive lines of football last year. This is a guy that you're going to insert him on day one of camp, and he's going to make noise, and he's going to cause havoc off the field, on the field, probably off the field too, but we'll worry about that later. He's a dog. I mean, small school love. Go Marshall. Shout out Randy Moss. He's amazing. That's pretty much all the analysis I have because literally my scouting report is dog. That's all.
Okay.
He's good. Good against the run, good against the pass, gets good pressures.
Yeah, I think he can get better against the run. That's the only thing I'll say. But I think he's an absolute monster as a pass rusher. The production's obviously there. He's a little on the smaller side, but guess what? Guys have been able to do that all throughout his career, and I think he fits perfectly in this Atlanta system. He'll be right opposite Matthew Judon, who's kind of fallen off a cliff. So maybe he can kind of revive that.
And Temple Edge Ronald Abigail, but
Yep.
That's why we were all surprised when they went Michael Penix last year. It's
exactly.
But Dallas Turner was right there.
That's true. This is finally the Falcons taking a pass rusher. We didn't even acknowledge
I feel
that.
We definitely
this is
did
big news.
There's no way we didn't do it last year.
Yeah, we definitely did. We took either Dallas Turner or Lato.
That was chalk, and then but it's okay. Nope. We love Michael Penix here. I think
some of us do.
Yeah, I was
not all of us. Yeah.
Quarterback 3.
Okay.
4. Yeah, 4. I forgot about.
Definitely 4.
I forgot about.
I hope 4.
I forgot about.
Okay, so Adam's up here with the Colts.
Okay, the Colts are taking calls, but they don't need one.
Okay. Yeah.
They want to stay above 20.
Okay.
No.
I think I'm fine where I'm at.
All right.
Yourself.
Huh?
You can trade with yourself down to 17 or 20 if you want. I think we forgot.
Yeah, I know, but I don't I don't really see either of my, because I have the Bengals, right?
Yeah, Bengals and the Broncos. Yeah.
I don't see
Well,
Cincinnati
the
moving
Broncos
up
actually
here.
would make sense.
It would, but I don't think the Colts make that trade with the Broncos, because I think the guy the Broncos want kind of
No.
coincides a little bit with, yeah. So
How about you tell us?
Yeah. How about
I
you?
will tell you. So the Colts are a little butthurt. Because Sexy Jerry stole our guy. This is unacceptable behavior. Mr. Chris Ballard, his life is on the line here.
Yeah.
You know, this is a big deal, guys. I mean, you know, all his tweet history, you know, he's kind of entrenched as a NFL Twitter legend, but that is all on the line here. And so I think he's going to do what must be done, and that is to still supply Anthony Richardson with the weaponry that he needs to make this offense successful. Because at the end of the day, Michael Pittman Jr., wide receiver 1, is not going to do it.
No,
So,
and
the Indianapolis Colts select Colston Loveland,
yeah.
tight end, Michigan.
Right.
And I think really this could be a 1A, 1B with him and Warren. I think it's really what you value. It's, you know, do you value kind of that run after the catch, explosive, you know, open field stuff? Or do you value a more traditional tight end and a guy who, you know, creates as that normal X receiver at the line of scrimmage, is able to get you that 5-10 yards, that safety blanket, if you will, when you need it. And I mean, to be honest, is a better blocker, if not, you know, a very good one yet. So I really like Colston Loveland.
We value sexy here. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Yeah. So I think Colston Loveland can be Indianapolis sexy, which is you know, kind of boring and dry, but enough.
Yeah.
So
I do what you gotta do.
Yep, you gotta do what you gotta do.
All right, Athan back to back with the Dolphins and Cardinals.
All right. I would have traded down more if I was Miami, to be honest, just because I was all in on Banks. But
how far down?
Yeah, I think I'm staying here. I'm just not trading down twice because you already traded with me, buddy. With Atlanta, but the thing is, they do need edge, despite how much they have invested in edge.
Yeah,
because Bradley Chubb does not play and Dylan Phillips
does not play. Yeah,
Chop Robinson's cool. They did get him last year, so it's like
Chop Robinson's awesome, dude.
Yeah, he is awesome, but it's like you have combined 2 starters because we're doing half and half with Chubb and Phillips, even though they got so much time to them. This is just a weird spot because this pick comes down to if you trust or if you value an inside corner, or if you are kind of double down and just go defensive line. Because I think there are safeties that are around this tier as far as Big Ward, but we've been burned so many times. We're like, Brian Branch, like top 15, 20 guy in the class, then he goes in like the 40s. And yeah. So this is like really tough. I'll go. Okay. I'll go with Walter Nolan, and then we'll.
Wow.
And then
Whoa. Oh my God.
Whoa.
Over Grant?
Yes, over Grant. I think the upside is decently larger, and I mean, I guess he would be a scheme fit as like a nose. If you're talking like
there's your Christian Wilkins replacement.
It's like their defensive line right now, like as far as like since it's because you have Phillips and Chubb's outside linebackers. It's Zach Seiler, who's cool, I guess. Benito Jones and Matt Dickerson. It is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Like I would have considered trading with myself with the Jets to get Mason Graham, but I don't think the drop off is unbelievable between him and Nolan and Grant. And I think as far as like straight like pass rush chops, I think it's about like a little bit better than Graham. Obviously, I think Graham's value comes in the run defense, but at the end of the day, you just need some interior help. It's not even a turnstile. They haven't done anything. It's not like they've actively added into the defensive line. They've actively ignored that position. And since the top 3 tackles are gone, you're just gonna have to wait. Like I think in this scenario, they would be thinking like probably like a Ariante Ursery or like bank on the Donovan Jackson film at tackle and stick him out there, just something, because I do think it's rich for other of the guards and a little early for Simmons just because of the injury history. I mean they love injuries. The Dolphins love injuries. So, I guess I'm contradicting myself, but yeah, okay,
Yeah. No, I understand it. It's a little rich for me just because I do worry about the pass rushing stuff. I think he's kind of unproven in that area, and I think a guy like Harmon or a guy like Grant even becomes a little more valuable because of his proven with that. But what I've said about Nolan this whole time is that if he goes to the right organization because of the traits that he has, I think he's going to be able to develop something like that.
Yeah.
And so, we'll see if in year 2 of this new coordinator, if they're able to really develop beyond that. So be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. At 16 with the Cardinals, I don't know if y'all like forgot about him or something. I thought we were talking about him a lot, but I'm running the card out for Tedero McMillan. It's like
there you go.
I like Michael Wilson. He's cool. It's not even because he's staying in state. It's just best player available at a position that could use some upgrading. I'm obviously not out on Marvin Harrison by doing this pick. It's like
best player available.
Yeah. I think he'd be better than Michael Wilson, or
I for damn sure hope so.
Yeah.
I worry about speed in that offense. That's my only thing.
Yeah.
Because by putting him and Marv together,
it is just like big bodies just go up and get it, sort of receivers, or just sort of just multiple X's would be a little tricky. Mm-hmm. I think he can be a little creative with McMillan as like a big slot occasionally, but let's see. Yeah, it's just you need good offense, and I think with how the board's fallen, I would consider edge, but I think they extended Baron Browning as well as bringing Josh Sweat.
They did. Yeah, they brought in pieces there.
Yeah, and the secondary, it's just weird because I don't know exactly how valuable Jahdae Barron. I love Trent McDuffie. I love Cooper DeJean. I love my inside corners, but I just don't know if at 16 that's what you're really going to do, or if you have. Yeah. I don't really have crazy confidence of him moving to the outside. Talking about Barron, and yeah, it's just they're not a good enough roster to go like whoever they want, but it still like fills a need. Like their current receiver 3 is Zay Jones. She'll be pushed down with Michael Wilson.
Yeah.
Just get more weapons for Michael's favorite quarterback, Kyler Murray, and we can go from there.
Yeah.